Coming up on Mornings on the Hill, the plane crashes across the U.S. Updates on the recovery missions.
Plus, we'll have an inside look at the CBS News event held in Newhouse featuring Syracuse alums.
In history at the Grammys, how Beyonce took home her first Album of the Year award, but it wasn't for pop or rap.
All that plus your weather and orange sports coming up on this edition of Mornings on the Hill.
Good morning, I'm Maya Alicia. Thanks for joining us on Mornings on the Hill.
And I'm Jack McGuire. Here's a look at today's top story. Tragic news out of Washington, D.C. last week after an American Airlines flight collided with a military helicopter.
All 67 people involved in the crash have died, and the recovery efforts continue today.
Our top story this hour, recovery efforts have begun to clear wreckage from the Potomac following last week's mid-air crash between a passenger plane and a Black Hawk helicopter.
Our Kira Saranik joins us live with the latest.
On Monday, crews began the salvage operation in the Potomac River at the site of last week's deadly collision between a passenger jet and a military helicopter. As of this morning, 55 bodies have been found, identified out of 67 total on both flights. The operation will continue this morning. And a little bit more about it. The first of the two engines were removed at about 10 o'clock yesterday, and shortly after that, at 12 noon, fuselage was removed out of the water. The remains of some of the victims have also been found. The search is still ongoing as cranes moved to put parts that were previously too difficult or too dangerous for divers to search. At the Unified Command Monday, Colonel Frank Pera described the day's operation as successful. He was describing it as the first two planes were removed at 10 o'clock. Now they're looking forward. U.S. Army Corps of Engineers say they plan to remove the cockpit on Tuesday. NTS Chairwoman Jennifer Hamanday says the NTS is about transparency. The NTSB Chairwoman Jennifer Hamanday says that any issue can arise, and they're looking forward to providing transparency and provide the accurate information that they need to. Following up, officials say the remaining parts of the submerged jet need to be removed to recover all 67 victims. They also say the recovery could take a few days and that the helicopter recovery will begin once the passenger plane is fully retrieved. I'm Kira Saranik for Mornings on the Hill.
Throughout the week, other plane crashes were reported across the U.S. Here to tell us more is our very own Vinaya Johnson. Vinaya?
Thanks, guys. We begin with breaking news in Pennsylvania, where a medical jet crashed on Friday evening. Authorities are still investigating the cause of the crash. Meanwhile, in Houston, another plane scare unfolded. On a United Airlines flight had stopped before taking off. Passengers and crew on board were safely evacuated after the plane's wing caught fire.
Tragedy struck on Friday evening when a medical jet crashed in Northeast Philadelphia. The National Transportation Safety Board is investigating and working to figure out what went wrong. The explosion claimed the lives of 7 people and injured at least 22 others. Debris from the blast scattered across 4 to 6 city blocks. This picture shows the 4 crew members that were killed in the crash. Philadelphia's managing director shares what is being done in effort to repair the city.
The area of impact, that area is roughly 4 to 6 blocks. And we also have debris in remote area where something happened with the aircraft, and that's something we'll need to leave the NTSB to talk about. So it's a very widespread area.
Jennifer Homendy stated, "This was a high-impact crash, and the plane is highly fragmented. There is substantial impact on the entire community." A video shared on social media showed the wing of the plane on fire, which of course worried the passengers on the plane. The flight was headed to LaGuardia Airport in New York City, but before the plane could take off, the crew decided to stop and evacuate 104 passengers and 5 crew members still aboard.
Everyone on board of the second flight was safe with no fatalities. Officials are now investigating both incidents to determine the causes and to ensure safety moving forward. We'll continue to follow this story as more details emerge. I'm Vinaya Johnson. Jack and Maya, back to you.
Let's turn our attention now to our weather.
Natalie is outside with details on your forecast.
Thanks, guys. So right now it is pretty cold out for just below 30 degrees. As you can see, it is slightly flurrying behind me. But definitely wear those winter coats today, as the temperatures will be slightly dropping throughout the day. It is currently 27 degrees, but feels like 16 with those 10-mile-per-hour winds. But that high humidity and dew point is what's going to make it more bearable stepping outside. Now taking a look at our regional map here, temperatures look to be staying within the mid-20s to mid-30s range throughout. More updates to come with a look at your 5-day forecast. Guys?
And of course, let's not forget Punxsutawney Phil, the groundhog, did see his shadow this past Sunday.
Unfortunately, Phil is predicting 6 more weeks of winter, all of which means more snow and icy roads.
And because of these freezing temperatures, there has been much more concern in Syracuse beyond just keeping warm. Our Charlie Goldberg has more on the driving danger that comes with winter weather.
In the midst of one of the coldest winters in recent Syracuse memory, many have become increasingly concerned with road safety. There's a higher likelihood of accidents on streets just like this behind me, all thanks to the formation of black ice. Black ice forms when snow or rain falls and freezes quickly on an already frozen surface. This creates a problem for drivers as the ice is translucent, difficult to see, making drivers not able to brake, skid, and lose control. Conditions like this make snow seasons busiest ever for owners of Oaks Towing Service in Onondaga County, just like Connor Rosso.
We see a fair amount of accidents all year round, but there's definitely a significant increase during the winter season with the ice and the snow and people sliding into each other or sliding off the roads. I always tell people, give tow companies time. Everybody thinks we come by a helicopter. It takes time. We have a lot of customers to serve. A lot of companies around here are small. We try to take care of everybody as fast as we can and give them the fairest prices possible.
And when you're driving on roads just like this, it's important to keep your foot off the accelerator, stay calm, and to not feel any pressure. It's very dangerous driving, but you could all get through this together. Guys?
This Monday marked the start of Interfaith Exploration Week at Hendricks Chapel. The event is modeled from the United Nations Interfaith Initiative. Our Lily Coaches is live from Hendricks Chapel with what to expect from next week.
Thanks so much, Maya. When I talked to Dean Conkle last week, he told me that this week is to learn more about others and yourself. He said that we often divide ourselves into 2 groups, us and them. This week is an opportunity to bridge that divide. Here's what he hopes students can take away when attending an event.
Go into an environment, suspend judgment, and take things in. Just observe, listen, explore, and to genuinely be curious, with the recognition that just because something is different doesn't mean it's deficient.
Now, all the different chaplaincies on campus will be holding events this week, so there are plenty to pick from. Just today, there will be a Christian Protestant Bible reading, a meeting with Spiral, the pagan association on campus, and tonight in Hendricks Chapel at 7 p.m., the founder of Interfaith America, Ibu Patel, will be speaking. Several people within the chapel told me that if you attend one event this week, this is the one you should attend. The week will culminate with an interfaith service day of learning on Sunday. For more of the events, you can go to chapel.syracuse.edu. Live from Hendricks Chapel for Mornings on the Hill, I'm Lily Kochis.
China's answering back to the U.S. after President Trump imposed a 10% tariff on Chinese imports. President Xi has put a 15% tariff on all imports coming in from the U.S., which will start February 10th.
This comes after the U.S. came to an agreement yesterday with Canada and Mexico to tackle illegal immigration and the flow of fentanyl over the borders. Both deals have paused President Trump's tariffs planned for at least 30 days.
Still ahead on Mornings on the Hill, we'll have an inside look at a panel discussion from CBS News journalists, plus a look at your 5-day forecast.
Good morning and welcome back to Mornings on the Hill. Thanks for joining us on this Tuesday morning. I'm Maya Alicia. The Newhouse School enjoyed a blast from the past after notable alumni returned. CBS News' Scott McFarland, Ali Bauman, and Rhonda Tarrant joined a panel to discuss fighting and disinformation in the media. Hundreds of students and faculty gathered in excitement to gain knowledge on navigating fake news. The event took place at the Herg Auditorium. False information is a big problem in the news industry. So much so, CBS News and stations started a new partnership that will give students the chance to learn and interact with professionals. Plans include working together in content creation with bases in New York, DC, and other cities. Scott McFarland weighs in on what students should do to be on spot with stories they're covering.
The more diverse your sources, the more diverse your interviewees, the more likely you are to be accurate and comprehensive. Make sure your reporting doesn't include only one gender, only one age group, only one demography.
Our Sheridan Truly was at the event too, with the inside scoop. Sheridan?
Navigating misinformation is one of the biggest challenges facing journalists today. CBS News collaborated with Syracuse University's Newhouse School to address this issue. Misinformation spreads quickly, and journalists are constantly working to separate fact from fiction. That's exactly what brought CBS News journalists and Newhouse students together to dive into the challenges of fact-checking in an age where news can change in just an instant. CBS New York reporter Allie Bauman shared her tips on how to stay ahead of misinformation.
I think that that's why, yes, you want to go out and you want to gather what is available, but then be skeptical about everything and be skeptical and go through almost the scientific method of trying to prove that this video, whatever the information is what it says it is.
Bauman also emphasized the importance of teamwork in reporting, reminding students that in a world driven by breaking news and viral content, accuracy should always come before speed. For Mornings on the Hill, I'm Sheridan Truly.
Scott, Allie, if you're watching this, we love you. Time to check your weather for today.
Natalie is in studio with a look at your full weather forecast.
Thanks, Jack and Maya. Looking at today's forecast again, we have a high of 32 and low of 15 degrees. The average high is pretty much the same, and average low being just 4 degrees warmer. But take a look at this. The record high today is 61 degrees and low is negative 15, which I can tell you right now, I would not mind being in that 60s range, but we'll make do with the low to mid 30s. As for tomorrow, it is going to start out cool with a 2% chance of light snow, followed by slightly warming up to a high of 24 degrees later in the afternoon. From then on, temperatures will drop to a low of 12 degrees with 0% chance of precipitation. Now look at your 5-day forecast. For the most part, we are looking at cloudy skies with less than 50% chances of precipitation. The high overall staying within the mid-20s to high 30s range with the exception of Thursday, 60% chance of snow starting in the morning and projected to stop later that afternoon. That's all for the weather forecast today. This is Natalie Smonowitz, Mornings on the Hill.
The New York State Fair is just 6 months away, but this past weekend we had a preview of what's to come. The Syracuse Winter Fair at the New York State Fairgrounds wrapped up. Mornings on the Hill reporter Autumn Ryan is in studio with more details about this winter festivity.
Thank you. Community and togetherness, that was the theme of this year's Winter Fair at the New York State Fairgrounds, a shared feeling by all at the event.
Since 2019, the Syracuse Winter Fair has been bringing fun for all ages. The taste of ice-cold slushies and spinning carnival rides brought the summer feeling into winter. From sweet treats to games and music, there was something for everyone to enjoy. While some came to see the musical performances, others came for the rides, but they all came to celebrate their community.
Togetherness, everybody come out and laugh and talk, because so much going on in the world today we need some enjoyment.
Beyond the neon lights and laughter, residents were helping give back. The Syracuse and Onondaga chapter of the NAACP donated all funds collected at the coat check and registered people to vote.
It's of the utmost importance. Everything in life is about relationships. So it's very important to let the people know we want to support them.
Fun was had by fairgoers and vendors alike. One vendor who sells art used his booth to inspire children who want to become artists when they grow up.
When I was little and I didn't have a lot of exposure to people that do what I do other than through books and media. So it's a nice chance for me to tell them that it's okay, that you can, whatever you pursue when you grow up, you can still be an artist.
Syracuse Winter Fair brought warmth and joy to residents despite this cold, icy weather. I'm Autumn Ryan from Mornings on the Hill.
Still to come, our sports team takes a look at the Senior Bowl and SU Lacrosse.
We'll also take an in-depth look at the draft stock rise of Syracuse football NFL prospects. That and more coming up.
Good morning. I'm Caleb Spinner with your Orange Sports Update here on Mornings on the Hill. While the rest of us were here freezing our tails off this weekend, Syracuse men's basketball was in sunny California, looking to snap a 3-game losing streak against the Cal Bears.
I'll ask.
Syracuse's top scorer with 19 points. Coach Red absolutely loving it. Hustle was the name of the game for Syracuse as they turned effort plays into buckets on their way to a 17-point lead at the half, including this turnover turned into a 3. Just the Syracuse Orange putting their bodies on the line to get a great performance in the first half. California's bench started off hyped. Why? Because of this. Jeremiah Wilkinson just baptized a man. Jair Davis on the wrong side of that poster. The Bears would claw back to within 7, but the Orange put the game out of reach with hustle plays like these. 2 hardcore fouls at the rim and 1 opportunities for the Orange. Syracuse tames Cal 75-66. The Orange hosts number 2 Duke at 7 tomorrow. At the Dome, the Syracuse women fell to Virginia on Sunday 70-67. Sophie Burrows had double-digit points for the 13th game this season. However, the Orange shot 24% from 3 and just 50% from the stripe, that last one being their worst clip of the season. Syracuse, now 8-13, travels to Virginia Tech on Thursday. And at the Tennessee Ice Pavilion, Syracuse ice hockey celebrated Senior Day over the weekend. The Orange swept the Lindenwood Lions in a 2-game series, ending with a 5-0 shutout on Saturday. Syracuse heads to Pittsburgh this weekend for a pair of games against Robert Morris. The Orange kicked off their lacrosse season, facing Jacksonville over the weekend. Mornings on the Hill's Jill Schumacher is live with the game recap.
Thanks so much, Caleb. It is officially college lacrosse season, which means there is no better place to be than in the Dome, with Coach Gary Gait focused on winning the week.
We need to go 1-0 this week, and that's our focus, and it's about execution, about us. And we've mentioned that a couple times. It's about how we execute and what we do and how we are.
Executing first for the Orange was Luke Roa, diving to the turf one-handed and still finding the back of the net. Mike Leo getting a piece of the action unassisted, stinging one far pipe, putting the Orange up 10-0. The Dolphins still trying to find their groove, looking for their first goal of the game, but here comes a quick ball movement to Dalton Hubbs to get their first goal. Trey Deer with some quick hands after that BTB to get it outside to Joey Spallina, putting one right in the corner. This game ended 24-5, and with 13 different goal scorers, it looks like the Orange will be hard to defend this season. This Friday at home, and we will see if the Catamounts have any better luck defending this depth Orange offense. Back to you, Caleb.
Thanks, Jill. Believe it or not, we're still talking about college football. It's all-star season, and Syracuse is making waves. 2 of the Orange's biggest names showed out in front of NFL scouts, proving they belong at the next level. Our Maria Wainscott is live this morning with how these performances are not only boosting their draft stock, but putting Syracuse football on the map.
The Shrine Bowl and the Senior Bowl aren't just postseason exhibitions. They are auditions for the NFL. These games bring together the top talent in the country for a week of practices and then a nationally televised game where players get the chance to prove themselves in front of NFL coaches and scouts. This year, Syracuse had 8 players invited to the games, the most they've had in the 21st century. Let's start with Kyle McCord, who made an impact at the Shrine Bowl last week. McCord showcased his quick release, pocket presence, and of course, deep ball accuracy. NFL analysts now see him as a potential fit for the New Orleans Saints or the New York Jets. His draft stock remains steady as a day 2 prospect, and his performance kept all eyes on him. But the biggest riser, LaQuint Allen Jr., who put on a show at the Senior Bowl on Saturday. Allen has been called the most underrated running back in this draft class, but his production tells a different story. He became just the 4th running back in college football history to record 1,000 rushing yards, 500 season. And in Mobile, he backed it up. NFL former Pro Bowler Chris Johnson called Allen burst and route running abilities, but what really stood out, his stonewalling blocking abilities. And even the pros are taking notice. The New England Patriots have reportedly already met with him. With McCord, Allen, and 6 other Syracuse players showing off their skills, it looks like there's going to be a lot of orange in the NFL.
Still to come here on Mornings on the Hill, a recap of an historic Sunday night at the Grammys with Geraldine Paglia. Stay with us, that story and more just ahead.
The Crypto.com Arena in Los Angeles held music's biggest event on Sunday. We send it over to Geraldine Paglia in studio to recap the night.
A late night for music lovers, Jack, and we have a lot to cover. Welcome to Entertainment. I'm Geraldine Paglia. The 67th Grammy Awards saw memorable wins. Kendrick Lamar made history with his song Not Like Us. It is the first diss track to ever win a Grammy, though it didn't just win one. The track aimed at Drake took 5 Grammy Awards, including Song of the Year, Record of the Year, Best Rap Song, Best Rap Performance, and Best Music Video. And the award that had everyone talking, Best Country Album of the Year. Nominees included F1 Trillion by Post Malone, Cowboy Carter by Beyonce, Deeper Wall by Casey Musgraves, Higher by Chris Stapleton, and Whirlwind by Lainey Wilson. But as Taylor Swift announced, the Grammy goes to Beyonce.
I'd like to thank all of the incredible country artists that accepted this album. We worked so hard on it.
She is the first Black artist to win Country Album. And Cowboy Carter also received Best Album of the Year, and in true Beyonce fashion, she ended her speech with officially announcing the Cowboy Carter Tour. And speaking of tours, some of the more biggest names in music are hitting the road soon. Kendrick Lamar and SZA are teaming up for the Grand National 2025 tour, and Billie Eilish and Sabrina Carpenter are getting ready for their own highly anticipated shows. For more information about dates, visit Ticketmaster.com.
That's a wrap for us this Tuesday here on Mornings on the Hill. I'm Jack McGuire. Don't forget us to follow us on social media.
I'm Maya Alicia. Thanks for watching Orange Nation. We'll see you next Tuesday live at 10 a.m. right here on OTN.